Getting to a bucket list tea experience. High price tag, how will it stack up? Will it meet my very high expectations? Let's find out. The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, and the Yummy of Afternoon Tea, Toronto edition. My mom treated me to afternoon tea at Shangri-La as part of my Christmas present. In January, we found a date and made the onerous trip to downtown Toronto to experience what might be one of the most expensive teas in the city. Let's dive into the Shangri-La afternoon tea experience. While my mom was still in the washroom, the server poured us a glass of sparkling wine. We did a quick cheers to the new year upon her return, but neither of us cared for the bubbly. We were here for the tea. Let's start with the good. I really enjoyed the food here, so I'm pleased to tell you all about it. We each received 4 savory items. My mom's serving was the regular offering, but I swapped out the foie gras and the salmon because I do not like those things for their vegetarian swap-outs. I appreciated that the substitutions were just as thoughtful as the regular menu. Mom's regular serving included foie gras with fig and pistachio, a mushroom and truffle tartlet, a turkey provolone with cranberry on focaccia, and a smoked salmon croissant round. My swap-out for the salmon was a beet puree and avocado instead of foie gras. Now, these items were so unique and tasty. The mushroom tartlet had the smallest, cutest mushrooms I've ever seen. The flavor was fabulous, like A+++. The turkey focaccia was really tasty. I loved the cranberry chutney. Also notice that it's so pretty for a finger sandwich. The beets, or salmon, was served on a croissant round. You can see the layers of dough there. Beets are not my favorite, but this was okay. Mom loves beets and thought this tasted pretty good too. And I love the pop of pink color. The menu said that the avocado and fig, or foie gras, would be served on a toasted brioche, but it was served in a glass ramekin. We actually didn't miss the bread. Again, a unique item with interesting flavors. These savories were well thought out, nicely presented, and tasted good. You can't argue it's not very pretty. We loved the artistry here. The scones were served on a side plate, but once we removed our savories, I was able to get the scones onto the bottom of the 3-tier tower, just how I like it. We each received 2 scones, a plain scone and a cranberry Grand Marnier scone. They were served with what the menu called Devonshire cream and spiced orange jam. We also requested butter, knowing this would not be enough accompaniments to cover 4 scones. I liked these scones because the outside had some color and texture, while the insides were still fresh, not dried out, and cakey but still light. The cream was authentic. I would hazard a guess that they are making it themselves versus the imported jars, using the proper long baking method with no additional random incorrect things added. It was great. We both enjoyed the scone experience here, and we're happy about that. There were 5 sweets for each of us, and each one was unique and well crafted. The colors seemed like perhaps these items were carried over from their Christmas menu with the red and green colors. I loved seeing 2 decadent chocolate items. Hooray! We decided to half each item so we could both try them all, as we were pretty full by this point. A couple days later, when I ate the second portion at home, I really took time to appreciate the textures and flavor combinations of these items. The details, I really liked the hazelnut chocolate bar, which did have a slight cinnamon flavor as listed on the menu. It was my favorite of the 5 items. The pistachio green tea crema tasted good. The Mont Blanc was certainly impressively crafted and tasted of mild hazelnut and chestnut, and the cassis was strong and pungent, in a good way. The white chocolate and ginger cake, that bright red one, had a strong ginger and spice flavor, but it was mellowed by the creamy white chocolate mousse. The chocolate mousse and tonka bean was rich and delicious. The outer chocolate shell was stellar. On the whole, I certainly appreciated the art and effort put into this sweet offering. We were both impressed. Overall, we enjoyed the food experience with each unique bite. As you know, it's hard to impress us, especially myself. We were happy customers when it came to the food. It's definitely the good aspect here. The thing I didn't love here was the tea experience. I had a hard time finding a tea from the menu that I wanted to have. While there were 11 teas to choose from, none appealed to me, likely due to the fact that 5 of them had floral notes in the descriptions, and I do not enjoy flower flavors. There were no flavored black teas, which is my preference. I ended up choosing English breakfast tea, but it wasn't for me. My mom chose the jasmine tea and she enjoyed it. Even more annoying was that our tea was served after our food, which I really dislike. You can see the server pouring our first cups whilst the food is already on the table. I really prefer my tea to be served well before my food so I have time for my tea to steep, be poured, add my milk and sweetener, and enjoy several tea sips before the food comes. The hot tea here was the least enjoyable part of this experience. The ugly, nothing here was ugly. The hotel, at least from the lobby where we were, is gorgeous. I loved this cherry blossom tree with handwritten wishes, with the koi fish pond built into the floor below. The fireplace feature in the middle of this area was very nice. There was live music playing. Overall, this lobby is lovely, but I did not love having afternoon tea in the lobby. As a venue, it's not a great spot for afternoon tea. It's very much a hotel lobby. That means there is a breeze as the doors are opened, which is frequently. There are people passing through with luggage and all their winter wear, many talking on cell phones. There was only one other table having afternoon tea during our 2-hour visit, even though many tables had been set up for serving tea. By the time we left, the tables and chairs were filled with many people just sitting around. It's not ideal when you're eating an upscale meal right alongside casual loungers. While the lobby is lovely, it's not the ideal place to take an afternoon tea of this caliber. The food here was yummy. I enjoyed all 3 tiers and the care they took on each item. Everything felt special. My favorite bites were the mushroom tartlet on the savory tier and the cinnamon hazelnut chocolate bar on the sweet tier. This afternoon tea was not inexpensive. It cost $98 plus tax and gratuity per person. This is more than double the quote-unquote going rate for afternoon tea in regular quote-unquote tea rooms in this province. However, I would say that the food offering was also twice as good and twice as enjoyable and twice as thoughtfully curated as the average tea room in this province. So I feel confident in saying that the price is justified. Overall, I enjoyed this afternoon tea experience and I'm happy to have crossed it off my tea time bucket list. It is in a category of its own. I'd call that category Toronto Hotel Teas, but I can still score it using my regular subjective scoring based on the offering, the price, and the level of expectation for a Toronto hotel tea. Therefore, my Queen of Afternoon Tea rating is 4 out of 5 stars. I'm not giving full points due to the tea offering being served too early and not to my liking, and the venue, while very pretty, I did not enjoy eating in this hotel lobby for the reasons already explained. If this offering and venue appeals to you, I suggest you give this afternoon tea a try sometime when you feel like making the trip to the center of Toronto. Have you been to Shangri-La for afternoon tea? Would you go? Share your impressions in the comments below, and thank you for watching, especially if you're doing so on YouTube. I always appreciate that.